Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Digitally Steered. I'm joined today by co-CEOs and brothers Daniel and Andreas Sennheiser, who, after an exceptionally busy year, are here to take us through the latest changes at Sennheiser, of which there have certainly been a few. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, you're both very well known in the industry, but this is the first time we've had the pleasure of interviewing you on camera. So for anyone that isn't aware, can you please just tell me a little bit about your backgrounds up until this point, and also how your roles differ from each other as joint CEOs?
So I'm Andreas Sennheiser, the younger brother. So we're about a year apart. From my professional background, I'm an engineer. After working in the industry with power tools for quite a while, I joined our company together with my brother, who was part of the company already a little bit earlier. And ever since, we're together shaping the future of our family business.
And Daniel, yourself?
I'm the older brother, and together with Andreas, I'm now running Sennheiser for actually already quite many years. I started off as the creative person, studying design and working in advertising and marketing, several companies before joining Procter & Gamble for more than 5 years, leading innovation and design there, and then joining Sennheiser with strategic innovation, taking it from there.
Now, I expect it came as quite a shock to many back in May when you announced the decision to move away from the consumer market, a sector that the company has been active in for more than 50 years, and instead focus entirely on pro audio. What was the rationale behind that decision, and how difficult was it to make?
Of course, a decision like that is never easy, and it took us quite some time to ponder around and find the right solution for us as a company going forward. And it all started with a strategic look at all our businesses, the consumer business, the pro audio business, Neumann, and also the Bizcom business. And we saw that there were great opportunities in all 4 areas, but we also realized that Sennheiser, as a privately owned family company, is best in owning the pro business, the Neumann business, and business communication, and drive that to fruition, whereas the consumer business needed a different owner, and the possibilities of grasping the strategic opportunities there are better served with a partner. Hence, we then looked for a partner, and with Sonova really found our dream partner, taking over the consumer business, while we now can focus all our assets, all our energy, and all our passion on the professional business, where Sennheiser originally comes from.
It must have been a difficult decision, though. I know you both have musical backgrounds, and I imagine there's probably great sentimental family attachment to that side of the business. So Andreas, how do you manage the pressure and the sense of responsibility that comes with making a decision like this?
Well, shaping such a legacy, which was founded by our grandfather, and taking it into the future is always a responsibility and a privilege at the same time. Sometimes it's really all about growth, it's all about grasping the opportunities, but sometimes it's also about steering the company by making big decisions like this. To make such a decision, it was very important that we had it thought through very diligently. And when we came to the conclusion that this is best for everyone, best for the employees working at consumer, best for us as the Sennheiser mother company, and also best for Sonova, who would take over, at that moment we felt much lighter about the decision, because we knew it was for the greater good of everyone involved.
And obviously it gives you that extra time to focus on your 3 professional business units. So which do you expect to lead the future, the growth of Sennheiser, and what's sort of the main focus and goals for each of them?
I believe there's great opportunities on all 3 business units, especially with the assets and the possibilities that we as a family-owned company have. So on pro audio, which is basically where Sennheiser has grown up, coming out of the broadcast industry and then moving into the music industry over the years, being very successful there. We see in that area the biggest growth engine in the audio for video space, where we are already really well established, but there's much more opportunities for the creators of the future using intuitive tools and also software tools that help create great audio content from scratch, whether it's as a vlogger or as a journalist like yourself, but also as a content creator in any case. Then on the Neumann side, we believe that there's great opportunities, and we've seen great growth over the past 2 years, specifically also in the pandemic. Neumann has profited from the pandemic because a lot of artists were not on stage, they were not able to perform, but they still created at home in their studios and streaming from their living rooms and places like that. So Neumann really is the right go-to brand for everything that comes out of the studio, whether the studio is a professional recording studio like Abbey Road and the like, or your living room, which can also today be a studio with the right equipment. The last but not the least business segment is business communication, where we focus on 2 segments. The higher education segment, where touchless audio, hybrid models of students going to universities physically but also remotely is a big opportunity, both on the microphone side for pickup, but also on the playback side with products like our Mobile Connect, which is assistive listening for students on premise. And the second biggest part there is the corporate sector, which has really picked up specifically the later half of last year and this year, where we have a great offering to equip all meeting rooms of all sizes and also allow here remote participation, hybrid setups, also the video conference that we're using right now to do remote broadcasting.
I guess you're quite fortunate, really, that core element of the business that have really struggled could be offset by these interesting other niches that have really accelerated since the pandemic. But when it comes to live events, do you foresee them rebounding back in the near future? And how are you planning to manage that transition?
We've seen a strong rebound in the last couple of months already. So the second half of 2021 and now going forward, we see the big festivals, the big shows, or be it the Super Bowl halftime show or now Coachella being prepared, we see this all coming back.
On the business communication side, the industry itself has grown, but the business landscape has also changed a lot around that. And Sennheiser has seen itself collaborate with several other developers, Bose, Microsoft Team, Zilliqa, for example, to help create solutions. Has that been an organic move or something that you've been actively focusing on?
It's something that we pushed now for quite a while because we understand that our offering is really just a part of an entire system. So what we provide is the best possible audio solution, but it has to be well integrated into the Microsoft Teams area with the Crestron controls, with other elements from Bose, like you mentioned. So for us, it was never to own the entire space, but it was more being agnostic to the actual standards of the solution and to provide the best possible combination.
Neumann recently unveiled new instrument mics, which marked quite a departure from the classic U87 condenser that we all know and love. What other surprises can we expect in the future?
So we're always looking at where Neumann can create something which is over and above everybody else, and where we can coin a standard, where we can create something which is audibly better from an acoustic standpoint while being reliable and a real true workhorse, because a Neumann microphone is an investment. It's not just a product that you buy and then you use, but you use and it grows in value, and all Neumann products have that.
Given the events in recent years, is it fair to say that you have encountered greater hurdles than those that your father presided over in the 3 decades that he was in charge of the company?
I think every generation and every leader has their challenges at their time, and you can't compare that. We know that our father went through some difficult times, so has our grandfather. It's different challenges, but they're equally challenging. And when you're ahead of a problem or of a situation like we have right now, you have to make a decision not knowing what the outcome is. And I think here, especially being two, helps, because you can discuss anything and then come to a conclusion and come to a decision and really go through that decision together. And maybe more difficult decisions are easier to take or cope with when you're two and you're not alone.
Personally, for each of you, what has been the main highlight of sort of running Sennheiser?
There's two that come to mind for me. One is the very clear strategy that we developed over the past years, and that we don't decide things based on gut feel or based on just an entrepreneurial decision, but we actually involve quite a lot of people in our strategy finding together, also with quite a lot of customers. And this is the second part where I'm just always very thankful, is when I spend time with customers in big shows, in big setups, and I see our products at work. It makes me very, very proud.
One of the big highlights for me is that whenever I take a look at our people, it shows how passionate they are, being one foot in a creative area and one foot in the high-tech industry. Because that's for me a unique combination, that we use high-tech products and highly skilled engineers and people with other education, and at the same time we create emotions with our customers and with the artists that are using it. That's for me always something that I just stand in awe when I see how passionate our people are, bringing together two things which theoretically are so far apart. And I just feel that our company is bridging those two worlds, and that for me is something that I'm always fascinated with whenever I have discussions with our employees.
It feels like we only just started talking, but we've already pretty much run out of time for today's episode. I'd very much like to thank both of you for taking the time to be here today, though, and hopefully I will see you out at a real trade show sometime in the very near future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Simon.